All right, so we are talking the business side of your ideas. Not how do you make the book, how do you get the ideas out of your head and get them into a container that looks like a book, shaped like a book, has chapters and tables of contents and formatting and all that stuff. Not how do you get your face on a screen and how do you have slides zooming in and make it to where people can pay you and then watch that course and watch those videos. Those are all super important skills and you can learn them, but we're talking specifically about how do you monetize all of that? What's the business side of it? Now today, I'm gonna tell you right now what I'm gonna show you, and I want you to kind of peg it in your head because it's super important when it comes to business and just kind of the money side of it, the business side. We typically think of revenue as being the most important thing. And then we talk about, well, I got to get my reach out there. I got to, up my followers and up how many emails and how many contacts do I have? And then sometimes we talk about results. Hey, does my stuff impact people? And then we might get into this thing we're going to call reputation. Okay, so let me say it in this order. Revenue, reach, results, reputation. Here's what I'm going to encourage you to do today is just as we go into this training, flip the script in your head and transform it into this. Build your reputation by getting people some results. That's going to increase your reach. That always generates revenue. And it works whether you're in the for-profit industry, whether you're a nonprofit, 501c3, whether you're doing any other thing in the idea, content, communication, thought, leader space. So here's what that means. And here's what to listen out for. People need to know what you do. They need to know the problem you solve and the potential you lead people towards. And you need to be known for it. And people need to know that you can do it, that you can solve that problem, that you can lead them to that potential. That it needs to be such that when people in the space start thinking about, well, I need somebody that can whatever, they just instantly think of you. Even if they don't need you and somebody else brings it up, the idea, the question, hey, do you know a good plumber? They just think of you. Hey, do you know a good life coach? They just think of you. Hey, do you know someone who can help me monetize my expertise? They just think of you. Hey, do you know someone who's a great business coach? They just think of you. Hey, do you know someone who's great in real estate and can communicate, and show me the offers and talk me through the contracts? They just think of you. So that whatever space you're in, they instantly just think of you. And they know what you do so well that when somebody asks that, they can repeat back what you do in their own language for two reasons. Number one, if they can't repeat it, they can't remember you. Meaning if they can't remember you, they can't call it back up when they need you or when someone else needs you. And if they can't remember it, they can't actually put your training, your teaching into practice. All right. In that intro, I think I just threw a lot at you. I wanted to kind of frame it though, so you kind of roll in and kind of know what you're going to listen to. As always, some information down in the show notes there for you. I'm Andy. You can reach me, Andy at amplifyonline.info. If you've got comments, questions, even just kind of want to bounce something off, we always do a free non-sales call. Here it is, the training on let's just flip the script on the order that makes all of this important. So let's determine the proper order to focus on each of these. Let's just assume that for some reason you can't just do them all at one time. Now you can work on them all concurrently, and I suggest you do. But if you had to pick and had to say, okay, what's the order to, well, let's go back and look at it. Revenue, it includes income, sales, and cash flow. Revenue is one of the concerns in business. That's what we're talking about in this module, but we can't just go straight to marketing in order to increase revenue. Okay, you can't just jump straight in. In other words, focusing on revenue alone. Let's just kind of highlight that. Focusing on revenue alone is often the wrong place to begin. If we do the other things well and let people know how to do business with this, revenue will increase. If we do the other things, what are the other things? The other things are results. The other things are reach. The other things are build that reputation, which is the byproduct of the two of those. I think the proper term is it quotient? I think this times that equals the quotient. If we do those well, revenue will increase. In other words, revenue, that's number one on the list. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 was revenue. 2, results. No, 2 was reach. 3, results. 4, reputation. 1, 2, 3, 4. Revenue, though it might be your most obvious problem, it's not your biggest problem. It's not your only problem. You solve the other concerns in the right order. I'm going to illustrate them below. Revenue comes. So here's the order. We typically look at these. Oh, got to make money. Oh, we need to reach more people. We need more followers. Oh, well, you know what? We got to help some people. We got to get some results. Oh, reputation. We worry about that last. Look, flip it. Build the reputation. What's the reputation? The reputation is the brand. Get results. Results are going to enhance the reputation. Reach more people, revenue will grow as the byproduct of that. Notice that this means that growing your reach and increasing your revenue are natural consequences of serving people well. Okay? Growing your reach and increasing revenue are natural consequences of serving people well. Where did I get that? Growing your reach, that's number 2, and increasing your revenue, they are natural byproducts of serving people well, of getting, look right here, number 3, results. So we work on that reputation, again, which is a factor of 3 and 2. So you kind of work on that, you get results, start reaching more people. Oh, number 4, growth. So it really becomes this cyclical thing as you start moving forward. Number 5. Now remember this, you must market. People cannot do business with you unless they know a few things. Here are the things they need to know. They need to know what you do. Well, what you do is the problem you solve and the potential you lead people to. This is all labeled in your framework. Okay, so I'm just going to say RE, your parts of, let's say parts. You're listening right now. Here's what I'm doing. I'm actually typing into the slides. They need to see the parts of your framework. They need to know what those are. The problem you solve, the potential. The potential is number 1 of 4 in the framework. The problem is number 2 of 4 in the framework. Remember, number 3 is the path. And number 4 is the progress points. Number 5 of 4. And I do say 5 of 4 because it's kind of that bonus on there is the pitfalls people could step into. We always illustrate that with the poop emoji because they might step into something. So in order to do business with you, people need to know what you do. They also need to be able to repeat that in their own words so they can remember you. And then they must believe that you have a clear path. Path is number 3 in the framework, right? A path that can help them level up and get results. That if they walk your path, if they make it past those progress points, they'll get to where they want to be. They'll step into that potential. They've got to know all of that. They've got to believe all of that. And it's easier to do this if you drive down to the core thing you do. Not everything you can do, but the core thing that you can do and the core thing you want to do. Okay, again, remember, you got to market. People can't do business unless they know what you do. And unless they can repeat that in their own words, and unless they believe you have a clear path that can get them there, that's going to be easier if you drive down to one core thing, not everything. Okay, and again, here are the examples. A laser beam or a flashlight. What's the difference? Well, a flashlight, and they got high beam, really strong flashlights. I remember being a kid going to camp and you had these guys that, we had the cheap flashlights, for like $1 at Kmart. That's where we got the flashlights. And then you have these kids that walk in with basically, it's like a Magnum flashlight. Like it's like a tactical police gear flashlight. And it just shoots what looks like a laser beam. And you can see it like oozing through the air. And it's still, right then, it's very different than a real laser beam. A real laser beam will cut through glass. And if I'm not mistaken, an actual laser beam probably has less molecules than a flashlight. One of those wide angle ones. What's the deal? They're just kind of concentrated and focused, booming and zooming at one space. And so the laser beam, it does something a flashlight cannot do. Now, here's another way to think about it. If I go outside right now, the sun is beaming down on me, going through the air, through the sky, whatever it is, 93 million miles or something a second. I mean, some absurd, takes 8 minutes for the light of the sun to get from the sun to planet Earth. And I go outside and nothing happens. I mean, if I stare at it, my eyes will kind of go blindy, right? But my skin's okay. I'm not going to fry. I'm not going to burn up. Yet, if I get a magnifying glass and put it on the grass, all of a sudden it focuses those rays, and I can set, as I did when I was a kid, the grass on fire. Or I can burn a bug. You've done that. How? Even though the bug's okay, on a normal day, you get a little boy who's inquisitive, gets a magnifying glass, focuses those rays, boom. Think about it like this. Here's another illustration. You get a little gun, and you fire a bunch of bullets at a wall in a random sequence. You just bing. There's another one. Bing, 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 ding, bing. If you're listening and you're not watching, I've got a wall that's kind of illustrated and just arrows representing my bullets going against that wall. And there's, one bullet here, one bullet a couple feet down, another one a couple feet down, another one a couple feet down, just boom. Think about the difference, though. Bullets fired at a wall in random versus shooting a bunch of bullets at a single target. That might break through the wall. That might get the job done. So you must market. You need to ask for the sale. That's what marketing is. But in order for people to make a purchase, they need to know what you do. They need to be able to repeat it in their own words. They got to believe that it's going to work. And that's easier if you don't have a bunch of messages. You got one core thing driving down that you're known for. Pro tip. People don't purchase products or programs. They purchase solutions to problems. They purchase steps towards their potential. So when you sell something and when you start going, okay, what am I going to be known for? You need to be known for not just all these things. You need to, in my opinion, be known for solving that problem. You need to be known for helping people get to that destination. And these kind of work together. It's a problem and it's a potential. You're solving the problem. You're leading people to their potential. You're leading to the potential. How you get them there? By solving the problem. They both fit together. And if any of this sounds confusing, there's a module. If you're an Amplify Pro, you've got access to this right now, how to create a framework. That is the training that helps you articulate that message such that it creates transformation. And we lead you through that whole process of, defining the potential that you're leading people to, articulating the problem, creating a path from point 1 to point 2, or from A to Z, getting all the way there, outlining the path that overcomes the problem, putting progress points along the way so they can see, okay, I'm gaining ground, I'm moving forward, outlining so they know what are the potential pitfalls, the ditches, the poop that you might step in along the way. That's all in that module. And so I'd encourage you to go access that. Now, here's what you need to do. You need to discover, where do you break through that wall? Discover what you do and communicate it as a clear solution to a problem. If you're not clear, this is so important. If you're not clear on the problem that you solve, if you're not clear on the potential that you lead them towards, if you're not clear, your customer, your potential client, the prospect, they won't be clear either. In fact, they're not going to be any more clear on it than you are. You're kind of the lid there of clarity. And if they don't know what you do such that they can remember it and repeat it in their own words, and they believe that you can lead them forward, then you see what we just said above, they won't be able to do business with you. So when it comes to marketing, those are the things that you need to remember. Let's keep going. Differentiating can help you develop your reputation, which leads to results, and reach and revenue. Now we're back to those four. Differentiating can help you develop your reputation. It can help you create results. It can help you build your reach. And remember, revenue is the byproduct. It is the overflow of all of these. So let's work through a couple of questions that are going to help you dial in what is your differentiating factor. What is the ultimate area of your expertise? As you're building out the business plan, where should you focus? I mean, not all the things you could do, but where do you begin this thing? What should you do? And this is, by the way, just a great exercise to work through. If you're sitting in a mastermind, you're sitting kind of in a group teaching training session. There's a training session that we do at our house here. We try to do this about once a year. We're doing it here again. This is something we're going to work through as the group. We can kind of sit everybody together and go, okay, hey, you've kind of dialogue, you've talked, you kind of all fans of each other. Some of you are friends of each other. Some of you even work together, but separate. Get with people and let's just start dialoguing. What do they see in you? Okay, and then you start going through these questions. All right. Questions. To what question are you the answer? To what problem are you the solution? To what issue are you the expert? Now, do you know? If you do, write it down and skip the rest of this module or use the rest of the module just to kind of help clarify it. But if you don't know the answer to that, that I want to help you by walking you through 7 questions to equip you to explore your differentiating superpower, to show how you stand out in the marketplace. You think about it, it's easier to build a reputation when kind of you're the only one, or it's easier to build your reputation when you're kind of one of the few that do this thing, right? That's going to empower you to build that brand. So questions. Question number 1 of 7. What problem do I already solve? What problem do people already call me about? Already, this is visible. People already see this in you, and you know it because they call you and they ask you. You know, this might be the thing where you think sometimes, I say this in the Making the Marketing of Your Book course, if I had $1 for every time somebody asked me that, I would be rich. Okay, what is that? Question number 2. What is something that you're passionate about? Something that excites you. Something that even if you get paid for it, you would do it because you just love it. Now, this might be invisible to others. They might not know about it. But when you get question number 1, what are you the expert about? What do people already ask you? You get question number 2, what excites you? If the 2 answers match, or if they're related, you might have found your sweet spot. Do you see? All right, let's keep going. Question number 3. What do I research a lot about? What do I read about? What do I watch, documentaries on? If you're kind of in that lane, or you watch YouTube videos on, you kind of search it up, or you listen to podcasts on it, such that people may know that you're an expert. Okay, and kind of another way to say this would be, and I get it, some of these questions are related. This is different than question number 1 in that this question is, man, you're researching this stuff. You don't really know it, like you're actively diving into it. So another way to ask this question is, what do I have the capacity to teach? And you are increasing your capacity to teach it at a high level. Question number 4. What is an area that you have results in that others have seen, even if you've not been paid for it? So this question is really highlighting you might have an expertise that you've not monetized. In fact, you might have come to this training because you have an expertise that's not been monetized that you want to monetize. You've got results. You've not been paid. You want to move it towards profit potential. Now, the 2 questions here, 3 and 4, do they match anything above? What's anything above? Well, do they match each other, or do they either one of them relate to questions 1 and 2? Are you starting to see any overlap in all of this? Let's keep going. Question 5. What are people willing to buy? So, uh, you know, is there a market for, let me try to make up something. Is there a market for, I can't think of anything off the top of my head. But if you've got an expertise or you've got something you want to sell, but yeah, you're not really, that's not going to be something people will buy. A good way to say is, hey, do people already kind of buy versions of this? If they do, that might be a good indicator. Hey, I can go down this lane. Again, just a question to help you explore. Question number 6, what business am I currently in? Okay, don't overlook your field, especially if you like the field that you're in. I know several guys who have monetized teaching people about life insurance because they were already selling insurance. And so, one of them wrote a book and he sold a bunch of books and it's opened up speaking engagements. Another one, which gave him more credibility, is filled. So his business grew. Another one, a financial planner, created an online course and then created a membership. And all of a sudden, like, I think that business is doing as much as his wealth management type stuff. So what business are you currently in? I know guys who are athletes and all of a sudden they've written books and then produced documentaries and then they have courses and training. They've monetized the expertise. And this doesn't have to be, something like that. The same is true of people who are authors. The same is true of people who are artists who teach people how to paint. The same is people who are photographers who now teach people how to do photography. Somebody in our family, a mother-in-law, who is an accountant, a bookkeeper, who is working on some courses to teach people how to set up their books and how to run their business side of things. What business am I currently in? Can I transform that into materials, courses, books, coaching, memberships, contract work, something people can buy? Another question. What is something that friends have suggested that I do? And if you've got friends around you and they have they ever said, hey, what you should really do is, man, if you keep getting that thing a lot, if all your friends are going, man, what you should really do is open up an ice cream shop. And yeah, I'm not advocating you should go open up an ice cream shop, but if all your friends are saying, man, you're really good at this, like you really need to, or hey, man, one of the things that you're awesome at and what you're really good at teaching is, okay, so what's the unsolicited feedback that you continue getting from people that know you the best and see you and would be honest with you? Like, they're not trying to win you over. They're not trying to, any of that. Like, they just see it and they call out some of the greatness inside of you that you may not yet even see for yourself. What is that? And then just, ask the question, do I see some alignments and overlaps on any of the above? Where are some of these answers beginning to reflect one another? Where is there overlap? That might help you figure out where is the area that I'm going to start building a reputation based on some results that I'm going to help people get. That's number 3, which is going to build my reach. That's number 2, which then turns into number 1, revenue. Again, differentiating is your friend. Now, this isn't just a riches or in the niches type of thinking. I hear people say that a lot. Well, the riches are in the niches. The riches are in the niches. I don't think so much the riches are in the niches as much as the fact that when somebody kind of, quote, niches down, what they've done is they've just kind of developed a one-liner and they finally said, hey, I'm going to be known for something. And here's the thing I'm known for. And it ends up so many times that that's not the exclusive thing they do. But it is the doorway where they've kind of identified themselves, where people start gathering and collecting around that. Think back to the example of the wall. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think you got 8 bullets right there on that picture. 8 bullets firing in a random place, or 8 bullets, all the energy going into one place. Man, that is totally different. Now, when it comes to differentiating here, and all those questions that we walked through, here are a couple things not to do. Don't differentiate yourself just based on knowledge. Facts do not usually sell on their own because people can find anything they want to know with a quick online search. They just Google it, or as one of our girls says, because she just thought, Google is not like necessarily the verb or the command of what you do. She was using a different browser. So she should have said, just go Safari it. People can find anything they want to know quickly online by Firefoxing it, by Safariing it, by Chroming it, by whatever they want to do. So don't just differentiate yourself based on knowledge or products. The same content can be delivered in numerous ways by you at different price points. So a book or a course is not the difference maker. So, you don't just go, hey, I'm the course guy. I'm the book guy. No. You could be doing all of those. Don't differentiate yourself based on what you do or your role or your title. Okay, there are numerous life coaches out there. There are numerous, countless trainers, lots of teachers, whatever. So that's not a difference maker. Do not differentiate yourself or set yourself apart based on your company name or your certification. One out of a million, it makes a difference, but those things don't mean a whole lot and simply create noise. So you need to differentiate yourself based on the problem you solve and leverage with the problem you solve your personality as well as connection and access to you. This goes back to the branding. This goes back to the reputation. This goes back to the module we talked about, core values. This goes back to the relationship that you have with people and how you reflect yourself on social media and in your emails and on your web pages and on your sales pages. Differentiate yourself based on your problem that you're solving, the potential you're leading people to, and embody that in your personality as well as access to you. Here's what it all means. If people trust you, they'll do business with you. People don't do business with knowledge. They don't do business with products. They don't do business with what you do or roles. They don't do business with titles. People don't do business with companies. People don't do business with certifications. People do business with people. And so, especially in this thought leader space, differentiate yourself based on the problem you solve, the potential you lead people towards, and the person that you are. So here is the correct order. The correct order is reputation. Build that, work on that. Work on the look, the feel, the branding. Work on really interacting with people. Work on number 3, getting those people results. Work on, as you get those results, reaching more people, making a bigger impact. Don't just jump to the reach and don't get enamored with the wrong reaches. Don't get enamored with the likes. Don't get enamored with the social media stuff. Now, again, those things can be important and they can factor into your business. But okay, if you're going, what's the correct order to start doing this? Is to start mapping out my business plan, reputation. What's next? Results. Get a few people results. They're going to help you reach more people. As you do that, revenue is going to grow. Again, if people trust you, they'll do business with you. People do business not with knowledge, not with products, not with what you do, not with companies, not with certifications. They do business with people. So it just takes connection, relationship with a few to get critical mass, to create a movement that continues growing towards revenue. Start there. You got it? All right, let's do the rewind. Let's review the practical steps that you can take to increase your revenue once you, again, have that business plan in place and you start going, okay, business plan in place. How do I execute this thing? And by the way, the best way to get the leads, which is kind of what we said you got to do to execute that business plan, is you got to have connection with other people. That's back to reputation. All right. So here's what you just learned. You have now understood what branding, marketing, and advertising are and how they're different, but yeah, how they work together. You've learned that you must market. You've got to ask for the sale, but the way you do it, how you market, will affect your brand. That affects your reputation. There are 4 concerns in business related to growing revenue. Those 4 concerns we said are revenue, reach, results, reputation. But the correct order to do those is almost the exact opposite order of which people do them. We need to focus on reputation first, and then getting some people some results. And then we need to focus on, after that, the results, reaching more people and getting them the results. And then revenue is the byproduct, the overflow of all of that. We then said, all right, what do people need to know in order to do business with you? Well, they need to know the problem you solve, the potential you lead them to. They need to know that you got a path that can lead them forward, and they need to know where to transact to sell. And in order to really do all of this, they need to know what you do, which is why we said it's super good if, when you go back to build that reputation, if you can differentiate yourself somehow. So we discussed how to do that. We talked about why that matters. And I really think that you can knock it out. All right? For further study, go here. Why you need to create core values immediately. That is a talk about branding. And then skip down to 3 force multipliers to monetize your business.